Welcome back to Wives on the Island. I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Jessica, and today we're going to be talking about a quick update on our lives. Then we're going to dive into traditional gender roles, and then for our pop culture, we're going to talk about the Ace family and Alex Bennett. So, we got a lot to chit-chat about today.
I'm excited.
So give me an update. We haven't chatted in a while. What's going on?
I know. So I'm feeling mentally so good. I went on a cleaning rampage yesterday.
Ooh.
And literally cleaned. I felt like, when you have two little kids, actually our kids are about the same age difference apart. It's just they're so chaotic and they just don't care. My daughter literally has a toy and then she sees another and she just drops it wherever she is. And it's just like that all around the house. And then things just build up. So yesterday I was like, I cannot live like this anymore. And I just cleaned everything. I went through their toys because my daughter's birthday is coming up. Then my son's in September. And I was like, we're going to get more toys. Other toys that we don't need, they got to get out of here. I posted them on my free cycle page of my East Cobb moms thing. And I was like, I got to get rid of all this stuff. I cannot have this. I was vacuuming. I was everything. Not a deep clean, but surface level. Because when they say if your living space is cluttered, your mind is cluttered, and that's truly how I was feeling. And I just felt like I was trying to just keep up, but things would just keep getting dirty because I wasn't just putting all of the effort in. So yesterday I was like, I gotta do this. And my husband had a work dinner, so he was gone all day, and I was like, kids, get your asses in gear, we're cleaning up here. And they did, they helped. So I was like, cool. So I just mentally I feel good about the cleanness. But I told you last time we talked, my husband ordered a dining room table for us because I wanted just a bigger one with leaves on it because I'm hosting book club next week. And, there's usually 12 people that come and then we have food. So I need a big space. Well, the box was huge. It was so heavy. The guy had a forklift, not a forklift, the jack pallet rather. And he dropped it off in the morning. My husband comes home at night and he opens it and it's just all shattered because it's a stone top. And I was like, I knew it was going to happen. I literally said to him, I was like, I just keep having this feeling, one, I'm going to hate it, and two, it's going to be broken. And literally we took one piece out and I was like, just ask for a refund. I don't even want a replacement. I'm over it. Don't care. So I'm back to square one with my dining room table.
You'll get there. You'll find something.
Yeah. So you had a lovely procedure yesterday. But I'm so glad you're feeling good because I hear it's not a great experience. So share your wait. And I do want to say I love how you sent a Snapchat of how much you weighed because you were down so much. So props to you on that.
I know, right? So I had a colonoscopy. Now, I do want to preface this with I'm not 45 yet. Just so everybody knows. Usually you have to get them at 45. However, I have a family member, my brother. I'm just going to put him out there because it's his fault I have to do this. He had polyps when he was younger, and they, when they took him out, they were precancerous. So because they were precancerous, I guess it now runs in the family, so I have to get it done. So my doctor made me get it done, and I had heard about colonoscopies. Thankfully, the people that I work with, some of them are a little bit older than me, and they were telling me before the medicine that they give now, you used to have to give yourself an enema. And I was like, I would have never had a colonoscopy if I had to give myself
Have you never
an
given
enema.
yourself an enema?
No. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you have stomach issues, so that's different. I don't have stomach issues.
Yeah.
So you have to take this medicines for 2 days, and then I found out that my doctor, which I have to say, he was wonderful. I loved him. He makes you stop eating solid food 2 days before, whereas everybody else, they usually start the day that they're going to do the prep, and they stop eating solid food, and they can only eat green Jello, orange Jello, anything clear, but no solid food. So I have a lot of lime Jello and a lot of orange Jello in my fridge. I have apple juice.
Out of all the flavors, lime?
Yeah, because so green and orange doesn't, the dye in blue, purple, and red leave coloring inside your intestines and then they can't see.
So you specifically had to get those? They told you no?
Yeah,
oh my
and
gosh.
It was literally I could eat Jello and chicken broth. Just chicken broth. You couldn't put anything in the broth. You could just have chicken broth. And I was like, who the fuck is drinking chicken broth? I'm not.
Yeah.
No. And then you can have the one thing that they did say I could have, which was I think what's godsend was the Talenti sherbet. I had mango sherbet, and
Well, they
that was
didn't
like my dinner for
specifically
the
say Talenti, I'm
No,
sure.
they had a picture. They had a picture on
Really?
there, like, yeah, they had a picture of it, and they were like, you can get this. It had to be dairy free because you can't have any dairy. So, like, I could have coffee, I could have Coca-Cola, which I think is beyond, like, as dark as, but you know me, I love me some Coca-Cola. So, and then because I'm not a psycho like Alyssa, I don't drink my coffee without milk. I have to put milk in my coffee. You drink black coffee.
Lactose and salt. I don't anymore. I put the Premier
milk,
Protein. No,
That's
I
what
actually.
I do.
I do the
I do
vanilla
that
one
too.
though. Yeah.
Caramel.
No, I do the vanilla, but I do the lactose free milk. The lactate milk is
Okay,
what I
yeah.
usually do. I tried to do the
When we worked together, you did black, and I was like, this
for
girl's
a little
like,
bit. I was on a health journey, yeah, and because
Yeah.
my belly hurts.
You
But
did, I
like,
know.
but the oat milk, I love oat milk. I love the taste of it. It's so good. But it's like, it's oats and it spikes your insulin levels. So like having that first thing in the morning. So I had to like cut that out. But now I do my Premier Protein and I love it because like it gives a little like flavor and I'm not like a creamer person. I black or, just regular milk. But I like it. Zhuzhes it up a little bit.
That's my
So,
favorite.
yeah.
Yeah, I always do Premier Protein in my coffee, so it's wonderful.
Listen, have you ever tried black coffee for like a full week?
No.
Okay, by the end of it, at the end, it's not that bad.
Okay.
The first
Well, I
2,
wasn't
3
gonna try it.
days.
I wasn't
First
gonna
2, 3
try it.
days are not bad.
I was already dying. Like, I was dying
Yeah.
that I could
Yeah.
only have that. So, like, for lunch, I got the little Jello cups. So I brought like 4 Jello cups for lunch so that I could just eat them for lunch. And everybody else around me is eating like pizza.
Did you go to work?
and, like, I had to go to work Monday and Tuesday.
Because last episode you said you were going to ask your boss to
I
work
was going to
from
stay
home.
home, but I didn't because then I
good
would
for
have had
you.
to work. I would have had to work in the office tomorrow, and I didn't want to do that. So I worked on Monday for a full day, and then I worked a half a day on Tuesday because I had to start the prep on Tuesday.
Yes.
So that I just feel like anybody who's had a colonoscopy, I don't understand why we've been doing this for so long, and the medicine tastes the way that it does.
What
Like-
medicine is it exactly?
So it is a medicine that is it's like a laxative. But it is, let me, as a matter of fact, let me show you. Hold on.
This is going to be so embarrassing.
So this comes in a bottle like this. This is how
What's it
big
called?
is, right?
Magnesium citrate?
Sodium sulfate, potassium sulfate, and magnesium sulfate oral solution is what it's called. So it's
Okay.
got the magnesium citrate, but there's
Yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff in it. And it's this
Yeah.
big. And so what you do is you pour it all out. And you have 2 of them. So my first one was early in the afternoon, and you fill it up, and then they give you a cup, and the cup is like 16 ounces. So you pour the whole thing of this in it, and then you fill the rest with water, and then you have to drink it. And then, so I was drinking it, and I was like, this is nasty. So it took me a good 15 minutes to just drink the 16 ounces. Then for the first prep that you do, you have to drink 64 ounces of water within an hour to like flush all that out of your body. Alyssa, you know how I feel about water.
Yeah.
I don't like water.
I feel
Unless
like,
it's flavored or...
yeah, I feel like that's not
know.
bad. It's just like a lot of stuff in your stomach, like in a short period of time. It like hurt
Right.
your belly. Like, yeah.
Well, it doesn't, because the minute you finish the 64 ounces, you're on the toilet.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so it clears you out. So you're like, okay, this is what it's like. And then I had to stay up because my next prep, and I'm an early to bed girl. My prep was at 10. So I had to stay up so that I could do the prep at 10. I'm like watching movies. I'm like walking back and forth, like trying to keep myself awake. And I did the second prep, and I was like, I did it where I did everything, and then every time I would take like the biggest chug of this so I could get it down faster, and then I took my sherbet and I would eat my sherbet right after so I'd get the taste out of my mouth, and
Yeah.
then I'd take another sip and eat the sherbet. So that was good. And then everybody made it seem like it's gonna be so hard at night, you're not gonna be able to sleep a lot, and you don't sleep well, because I think I got up like every hour to use the bathroom, and then I'd go
wow.
back to sleep, and then I'd get up, and then I'd go back to sleep. But it wasn't like a violent, like I expected it to be. The way everybody made it sound was like it was going to be violent. Like I was going to be like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it to the bathroom kind of thing. It wasn't like that at all. One of the ladies that I used to work with told me, Jessica, put a towel down in case you pass gas. because sometimes it just comes out if you pass gas. And I was like, that's disgusting. But I put a towel down. And then in the morning, I was
That's
like, I'm happy
crazy.
to report that I did not do that. I
Oh my
didn't
gosh.
poop on myself overnight. And she was like, I'm proud of you. And I'm
my
like,
God.
who would think of that stuff? So yeah, so that was the prep. And then after my prep, and then the thing is that at 10 o'clock, you have to be finished with it because you can't eat or drink anything after 12.
Yeah.
So I finished everything by like 10:45. I was done. And I was like, okay, I'm done. So then the next day I go to get I go to the thing. My procedure was at 8. I didn't go back to the room where they prepped you until like 8:25. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, they weighed me. So I had put a weight on my chart that I am every time I step on the scale. And then she goes, I stepped on the scale and I was like, oh, you want me to take my shoes off? So I had on because it's always cold in those surgical rooms. So I had on a t-shirt, I had on a hoodie, and then I had on sweatpants because I didn't know how the procedure was going to make me feel, like if I could button my pants or anything like that. So I had sneakers on. She was like, no, just step on the scale with all of your clothes on. And I was like, okay, that was 4 pounds or 2 pounds lighter or 3 pounds lighter than I was when I stepped on the scale with all my clothes. So she goes, well, we're going to take off 4 pounds because that's usually how much clothes costs. It's about 4 pounds. And I was like, what?
So I have to ask, did you weigh yourself afterwards?
No, I didn't.
Oh my
I didn't.
God.
Alyssa, I was so out of it. I was like,
Oh my God. It's
So-
like, I have a unhealthy, like, obsession with weighing myself. It's like, I was just thinking, I'm glad we're at a point in, like, society where, like, 10-year-olds aren't dieting anymore because, like, I feel that was me. Were you not 10 and on a diet and, like, starving yourself? And I laughed when you were talking, I don't know, it was maybe because I was, like, fat growing up. But, like, I have IBS and I laughed because there's like IBS diarrhea and there's IBS constipation. I had IBS constipation, and if like I ate too late or if I eat like fast food, I'm gonna get one of those cravings, and it sits in my stomach. And even to the point where like when I became lactose intolerant, I was like, cool, I just eat what I want to eat, and then no, it sat in my stomach and it was like, and I was like, no, I cannot do this. But they sell the magnesium citrate at Kroger, so I would be like, I haven't gone in a couple of days. Let me just. And my husband was like, you need to stop. You're like abusing laxatives. And I was like, I never really thought about it like that. He's like, yeah, you're not going to be able to like ever go on your own if you keep like doing this.
Continue to use that.
And I was like, you're right. I was like, it made me feel so good afterwards. Like the little, like, did you wake up and like, maybe this is like the unhealthy like relationship I have with my weight. I would have woke up and be like, put me on the scale. I need to know how much I weigh. Like I would have been like, I feel like a skinny queen. Did you feel so skinny when you woke up?
I didn't. I felt like I was gaining weight because
maybe bloating.
And I was chugging apple juice. Like I bought the Sam's Club big thing of apple juice, and then if you look, Talenti sherbet sounds great, but it's like 240 calories for one serving, and I ate the whole freaking thing for dinner because I was like, this is all I could eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I did not feel skinny at all. And then so I get to the procedure, and they take me back and they give me my IV, and then the lady like is wheeling me back, and so I'm chit chatting because the anesthesiologist came out and he was talking to me, asking me like all these questions. He was like, "Do you have a reaction to anesthesia?" And I was like, "It's not a reaction, but usually when I come out of anesthesia, I don't know if anybody's like this, but I get like violently cold, like to the point where like my body convulses and I need like 4 or 5 blankets." And he was like, "Well," he gave me the whole science behind why that happens, and I was like,
okay,
thank you. And then he was like, but just so you know, I won't be in the room with you. I've already dosed out the medicine. I've done all that. We have a nurse that's my anesthesiologist nurse is going to be in the room with you. He goes, however, it was literally like where the bed was and then the operating room. So he's like, I'm 3 seconds away at all times, so you don't have to worry about if anything goes wrong. I'm right here. And I was like, oh, okay. And they gave me propofol, right? And so I'm like sitting there talking, and it was weird because like the doctor and his nurse are in the room, and she's like, okay. And then the anesthesiologist nurse is like sitting on my side, and she's like, okay, I need you to like lay on your left side, put your arm out. She like propped my pillow so that my neck felt good. And she's like, and you're going to put your leg all the way up to your chest. And so, like, my butt is just out, and I'm like, I was like.
But don't you feel like,
so weird.
but don't you feel like, I guess you had a C-section. Did you labor at all with your first?
Mm-mm.
No, you just like straight C-section?
No, I mean, I did. No, I labored, but
Okay.
I wasn't dilating, so we...
Yeah. Because I feel like once you like go through the laboring process and
Yes.
you're like all the time, it's like, what's the butt, you know?
Yeah, you have people just like coming in and shoving
Yeah.
their hand in you to see how dilated you are. And stuff.
Yeah. I feel like after that, I'm like, it is what it is.
I wasn't offended.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm a maybe another topic we'll talk about one day is naked moms, but I'm a naked mom, so I don't really worry about anybody seeing me. But it was just like I can see other people being uncomfortable with having to put me in that pose once I'm asleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Throw my
So
leg
then
up
she's-
for me.
Right. She's talking to me and she's putting the medicine in. She's like, it's going to hit you in a sec. And I was like, I'm sure I have some time. I was knocked out. I don't remember talking to her. I was just out. And then I woke up, and my husband was in the recovery room with me. And the nurse comes in, and I'm not ashamed of a lot of things, but she walks in, and she's like, "You're awake." And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And I was like trying to wake up, and she's like, "I'm going to get you, do you want apple juice or cranberry juice or orange juice?" And I was like, "Oh, cranberry juice." She's like, "Okay." So she goes and gets the cranberry juice, and she comes back, and she's like, "Have you expelled gas yet?" And I was like, "No."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "No." And she goes, "Well, you're going to, because when they do the thing, they push air inside your intestines so that they can get the camera
Yeah.
in there. So you're going to be very gassy." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Meanwhile, the guy next to me is like farting up a storm. I was like, so loud. And then I'm trying not to laugh because I know like he can't help it because we just had this procedure. But Alyssa, it was like, I was like, every
And-
time he did it.
No shame in the colonoscopy
No.
game, I guess, you know?
No, but it was hysterical. And she's like, "If you don't, your stomach's going to hurt a lot and you're going to really need to get it." And I was like, okay. So like when I got home, I started doing like the stuff that you do to babies, like where you put your knees up and stuff.
Yes.
Because I could feel it, but I
Yeah.
just, so yeah. So I have to say that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
And all clear.
And all clear. Everything was clear. They didn't have any worries. So, however, for normal people, I would not have to get one until I was 52 because it's 10
Oh.
years. However, because of my brother, I have
5
to do it in
years?
5 years. Every 5 years. I was like,
Yikes.
"Thanks." And so I texted him and I was like, "Everything was clear. There's nothing wrong." I said, "But I still have to do it 5 years because of you." And he was like, "Welcome to the club." And I was like,
Oh
"I
my
hate you so
gosh.
much. That's not a club I want to be part of." But yeah, it wasn't bad. Like I said, they need to get it together. The medical field needs to get it together and make it taste a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
we
like,
can flavor things now.
Yeah, why don't they make it like how the glucose? I mean, a lot of people don't like the glucose
I liked the
testing.
glucose
I
stuff.
liked it too. I thought it was
Yeah.
good. I thought it
It
tasted
was like
good.
orange soda. I was
Yeah,
like,
it
what
was
are
just like
people
a s-
complaining about?
It was like a super sweet soda. That's it. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's good. You know, like,
Yeah.
I had no problem.
Yeah, but some people are like, "Oh, I throw it up," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, why?"
Well, doesn't it scare you when the nurses are like, you know, if you throw it up, you're gonna have to like redo the whole thing. Wait,
Yep,
this
start all
time.
over
And I'm
again.
like, there's a possibility I'm gonna throw up. Like, what is this tasting like? And then you're like, and then you taste it, and you're like, oh, it's pretty good actually. I like it. And I was like,
Yeah, and
I
I'm going
like
to be
it.
honest, that's what everybody said about the colonoscopy drink. They were like, "It's going to be gross. It's the grossest thing," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I thought the same thing when I opened it and I
Yeah.
poured it into the cup. I was like, "This doesn't look that bad. Maybe it won't, it'll be like the," and then when I smelled it, it has like a sweet smell to it. So I was like, it was like drinking like a weird sugar salt mixture, and it was
Yeah.
so gross.
I
And
mean,
it,
I
like,
will.
It hit your yoins, whatever that is back there, and it hit it, and you were like, yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
I did do the magnesium citrate, so I'm familiar with the taste. It doesn't taste that great.
No.
It's definitely not as good as the glucose
Yeah,
drink.
and they just
But-
need to fix that.
That's so funny.
That's what I call it. You know how like when you have something sour and it hits you back
Yeah.
there? Yeah, that's
That's
what it
so
is. So it's like, but yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, I'm glad everything is good. I'm sorry, you know, that you have to do this in another 5 years, but as long as you're healthy, Jessica.
Yeah, that's all that matters. So.
Exactly. So let's move on to our topic for today, which is traditional gender roles, mostly in a marriage, but I guess we could talk about like in parenthood as well, how that goes. So traditional gender roles, the woman is cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids, and the husband is working and
fixing things and providing and oil changing, and that's how I look at it. Like that's why it's not like they...
Okay, does your husband do that, or like...
Absolutely not. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't. I mean, he knows how to do some DIY stuff. If he needed to, he can. But you know, like he's not changing the oil in my car. I go to a dealership and get it done. You know what I mean? He'll do stuff around the house.
The traditional gender roles for men include the breadwinner role, a stoic figure role, which involves being emotionally reserved and not showing vulnerability, a protector role, a decision maker role, fixer of things role, dominance in a relationship role, emotional resilience role, and a career-focused role. So I will say, for me, this is my husband, other than the dominance in relationship. Well, it does say which involves being dominant in romantic relationships. So maybe. But anyway, I feel like for him and we do fall into the very traditional gender roles.
My husband is a fixer. I do like my husband to make the decisions. It's very weird because like, and I do this and this is probably not good, but I like my husband to make the decisions because if they're bad, then I could be like, ooh, you need to make a good decision. And it's not
smart.
on me. So
that's girl math.
But right. But my thing is that like I really do allow him. He makes most of the decisions, partly because a lot of the decisions I don't find to be that important. I'm like, do you? But if I have a say, we sit down and we talk about it and I listen. Like
if you have an opinion, you mean?
If I have an opinion, usually he goes with my opinion because I don't. So if I say something, but I would say that while we do have traditional roles, my husband is somebody who, if I died tomorrow, my husband can do laundry, clean the house, make dinner. He does, because he does it all now. Like, I don't have to do it. My husband can do everything that needs to be done and vacuum and wouldn't think about it in a heartbeat because the way his parents raised him was you do everything. You do indoor and outdoor work. Yeah. And so, so I don't have to worry. Like, I remember my dad had a surgery when my daughter was born. I want to say she was probably like 3 months. I pumped because I had to go, and I couldn't bring her to the hospital with me. Mm-hmm. My husband had her all weekend. I called, but I wasn't worried that at 4 months he couldn't take care of her or do anything. He did everything he needed to do, and I didn't have to write a list. I didn't have to be like, they have to eat at this, she has to eat at these times. She wasn't even sleeping through the night yet. You know what I mean? And he did it for the weekend. So while we have I feel that we have very traditional roles in our marriage. I don't worry because he has the role of the man of the relationship. He will still do cooking, cleaning, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. That's good. I love that you shout out to his parents. That's how he was raised. Yeah. For the women's traditional gender roles, it's, emphasized in nurturing, caregiving responsibilities are often expected to be primary caregivers responsible for raising children and managing household duties. Now, I know the household duties outside, your husband works a lot and he travels for work and all that stuff. So you are fortunate enough to be able to pay landscapers, whatever. Honestly, we could too. My husband's just cheap. He does it all himself, but he does the oil changes. He does everything. He does all the renovations that he could himself. Right. And it's funny because I'm I do all the cooking and cleaning and all of that stuff and taking care of the kids. I'm the, what do they call it? I'm the default parent for sure on things. I make sure that they have their lunches ready, their breakfast at a certain time, things like that. And I have gone away for a couple weekends for my friend's birthday and I'm not concerned. I mean, I do put together a list, but I think that's just a me thing, not a him thing. There's just my OCD and I don't want to let go. But honestly, I'm okay. This is maybe a hot take. I'm okay with having my traditional gender roles. I don't want to be mowing the grass in 90-degree weather. I want to be inside folding the clothes in air conditioning. Sorry. I'm the same way. Yeah, I don't really care to be doing... I'm not going to, do an oil change. I'm not, we have a mud wasp that's making a little nest. I'm not taking care of that. Like, he's going to do that tomorrow.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing that. Anything that comes on, even honestly, like, if the dog poops and, like, outside, that's one, not my dog. I mean, it has been for 12 years. It was, like, not my dog for 1 year of her life. But, like, not my dog, you take care of it. You know, if I walk her, I got her. But if not, it's on you. And just like those little things. But like, I feel like I mentioned how when on cleaning rampage, he comes home after a long day, he plays with the kids, and he's just like exhausted and like mentally drained, especially in the role that he's in right now. I feel like in the past, in different roles, it's been easier for him. But with this specific role, it's just like really mentally draining for him. So he's like just tired. I'm like, whatever. So he's not thinking of like picking up a vacuum or anything, but he will, like, when the time comes. I'm like, you know, I like you said, if I were to die tomorrow, he'd be good. He might eat like Chick-fil-A for a week and then Chipotle the next week, but like he'd get there. But like, I don't grill. I cook. I don't grill.
Yeah.
So like those are very traditional, and he's like the protector. And I know we talked about like Demi and Brett, and it's like, Brett, he laid his hands on me. Like, that's me. Like, he's my protector. Like, I will go anywhere as long as he's with me. I feel safe. Like, I know, you know, unless it's like terrorist attack and he can't control it. But other than that, like,
he can't help that.
yeah. But like, I'm like a bad decision maker for the most part. Like you said, unless it's something I'm very passionate about. Like, I'm like, just tell me what to do. Like, what do I do?
Right.
You know, so things like that. But, and I'm okay with that. But I feel like there's an overwhelming sense right now of like women wanting to do, you know, it all, do everything. But I don't think they realize, because like I have never once in my life, in my 30.5 years of life, I've never seen a woman mowing their lawn ever.
My mom mowed the lawn.
Are you for real?
Yeah, she would mow. She did it a few times, and
I've never seen that ever.
Yeah, but it's funny because my parents raised us the same way that my husband's parents raised him. Like, we did inside and outside chores. I'm gonna be honest, I did not do outside chores. I got away with doing outside chores because my dad loves me so much and he didn't make me do it. But like when I first got with my husband, it had snowed and we were at his house and he was like, "Come on, we're gonna go shovel." And I was like,
I did shovel.
What?
Yeah,
and he was like, "You have a parking spot. You need to shovel out your spot or somebody's going to take it," or, you know, and I was like, that's it. That's your job. And he was like, "No, we're in this together. This is an us thing." I was so upset. I was like, maybe we don't belong together, because my dad would never. But my mom shovels. Like, so I don't, it was just because he didn't make me do it. So that is probably the only thing. And then when we lived in New Jersey, we did have a rider mower. Mm-hmm. So I did that once because that was fun. Because, you know, you got to ride on the mower.
I think I would do that. I would do that.
Yeah, I was never pushing a mower, but with the minute he got a rider mower, I was like, woo woo, having a good old time. I did it once.
Really funny. I would love to see you on a rider mower.
Did you?
I would love it.
It was fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I have, because like I do feel bad, like he's working all day, and then there's like, you know, it can't rain, it can't this and all. There's all so many like factors that go into cutting the grass, and I'm like,
yes,
I'll do it, and he's like, nah, you don't have to worry about it. I'm like, thank you,
thanks.
You know. But like, I guess if like push came to shove and it was like really bad, and he was like on a work trip, but then again,
you would do.
I don't even know how to start it. I don't want to know how to start it.
Right? Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's
I wouldn't.
just
like I said, if it's something that he does, it's something he does. So my husband told me, like, from the jump when we were dating, he was like, just so you know, if we ever get married, I'm never doing lawn. I refuse to do lawn. We will always find it in our budget to have somebody do our lawn, because his parents lived on this like nice lot of land, and him and his brother and sister would have to mow the lawn.
Oh, and he's like PTSD from it.
Yeah, so he goes, we will never, that's nothing we will ever do. So when we moved to New Jersey, it was like a new community, so we couldn't find people right away. So he was like, he just got a rider mower, and he was like, this is going to be easy because you can mulch it and it goes. So apparently, like, his dad didn't allow them to mulch it. They had to collect it in the bag and then put the bag. And so it was just a lot for him. It was stressful. So he's just never done it. So it's just something that I'm sure if he didn't have the PTSD from being young, we would be out there every other week mowing the lawn together.
Yeah. There was a period in time where like I hated to vacuum because like I have PTSD from vacuuming. My mom would make me vacuum like literally every other day. And I'm like, there's no dust here. But whatever. And then she'd be like, you missed a spot. And I would be like, bitch, you go vacuum it up then. Why you make me do it I was so annoyed. And there was a time where I'm like, you can vacuum. I'm not doing it. But then like we got a Dyson, you know, because back in the day, you had to like plug it into the wall and stuff. And I was like, I don't have time for this. But now it's just like cordless and you can go and it's all good. Now that we have a dog, like I can't afford to like not vacuum. And now kids especially. But like obviously my vacuuming picked up before I had kids. But like, yeah, there's some things where I'm like, I don't want to do this. But like, I'm not going to go cut the lawn. I'm not going to be like doing our landscaping. I'm not going to be pulling the weeds. I'm not going to be doing any of that. And like, yes, like I said, can we probably afford to have people do it? Yeah, but it's just like my husband's like, I really don't mind it. And like, I don't care. And I don't really want to spend the money to do that. We can like spend it on other things. So, and even like with the cleaning of the house, obviously like as a mom, it gets very overwhelming sometimes. And we did hire like somebody to come clean for a little bit, like once a month. But like I found myself like cleaning up the house.
Cleaning before she got there.
Cleaning before they got here. And I was like, why am I doing this? This is so dumb. Like, granted, now, like, you know, I'm not like cleaning my baseboards, obviously. They could do that. But like, honestly, I probably could too if I just managed my time a little better. So like, that's what I've been doing because it wasn't expensive, but I was like, it's only just like an inconvenience for me to like have them come on a day where I don't have the time to clean beforehand. And then I'm like so deeply ashamed and embarrassed. And I'm like, I cannot have them
see. And I'm
sure
your house is not that dirty. I've been to your house. It's never dirty.
You haven't been here in a while since my daughter was born. But, you know, having the two kids is a lot.
That's messy. That's not dirty. You know what I mean? Like, your house might be messy because you have children. But your house isn't dirty. Like, I know I have a friend who, I don't know if she still does it, but when we used to work together, she said she'd have a lady come in once a month and just do like a deep clean, like baseboards, ceiling, the fans and stuff like that. So she was like, that's all. She goes, I can clean everything. She goes, but I didn't want it to be like, because I clean my baseboards, it's every fall. Like I do my baseboards in the house. Like I get a little bucket and I just sit on the ground and I go through all my baseboards. And so I hate that. I hate it with passion. It takes so long and I don't want to do it. But if I had somebody who came in once a month, I wouldn't have to do that. So it's like I always think about it, but I'm like, I'm not paying somebody to come do my baseboards.
Yeah, I my house isn't dirty, like you said, it's just messy. But sometimes I feel like I can't clean the dirtiness because I'm too busy picking up the mess, you know? So, like, that's why I, like, did my rampage of cleaning yesterday of the mess. And then I'm like, and then I'm going to go into, like, my cleaning the dirt, you know? And I really don't have a problem with it. Like I said, I'd rather be doing that right now. It's June, it's hot. I'd rather be inside doing what I want. And, like, a give and take. I like to cook. Do I love that I have to be the decision maker of what everybody eats for dinner every single night for the rest of my life? No. But if we go out to eat, I mean, my husband, go ahead, you can cook. But if we go out to eat, you're paying. But I'm good with the traditional gender roles personally. I do think that there are some things where we flex on. But that's like all a give and take. And I know you kind of feel the same way. We're not big on like, I'm not trying to be the breadwinner. I want to provide a loving, happy family for my kids. And that falls into a gender role for me. I'll take it. That's all I want.
I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind making more money than my husband. That wouldn't bother me. You know what I mean? Like if I made more money than my husband, I'm not saying that no to that, but that wasn't the goal of life. You know what I mean? Like now that my children are older and they're, you know, my oldest is going to be in college and my younger one, I can pick up jobs that kind of like my husband did where he travels. And if I wanted to do that, I can do that and make more money. And I think now as I'm older, that might be something that I want. But again, I would still want to stick to like, you're still the decision maker. You're still, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just bringing in a little bit more money.
Yeah. My only issue with becoming the breadwinner is more responsibility and like you kind of have less flex because there are things like my husband can't say no to and he has to be in the office at certain times. And like for where I am in my life right now where my kids are little, they're about to like be going into like school, I'm not missing anything. Like
you need something flexible.
Yeah. So
well, that's what I said. For me now, where I am.
Yeah, for you now.
because I don't have to worry about that. I'm not missing anything.
I feel like the biggest thing, like our takeaway from this is like people need to stop shitting on being okay with gender roles,
Right.
like traditional gender roles, and vice versa. Like if that person is doing it and like your husband wants to be a stay-at-home dad and things like that, like okay, like somebody's
love
got to
that.
yeah, somebody's got to do that. But
Right.
like let's stop. I feel like right now we're going through a phase where everybody's just shitting on the traditional gender roles though, of like the mom doesn't have to be home with the kids. Okay, but what if some moms want to? You
Right.
know, like, you know, I know so many people that are moms and they're working and they want to spend more time with their kids. So I don't ever, like, yeah, our day's hard 110%. But like, I never take for granted that my husband has not given me, but we have had the opportunity for me to be a stay-at-home mom because there are so many people that I know want to. I very rarely hear a stay-at-home mom be like, yeah, I need to get back to work. Like, I don't want to do this anymore, you know? Like,
But see, I do know people who are like, oh my God, I would love to be a stay-at-home mom.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
like, I think the fact that people have an opinion about it, like, mind your business. If you don't want to be a traditional mom or stay-at-home mom, or you don't want to have traditional gender roles, then that doesn't work for you, and it's your business. You do you. What makes you
Yeah.
happy. But if other people are happy with, I'm happy with the role that I have. Like I said,
Absolutely.
people judge me because I'm like, oh, I let my husband make those decisions. It's not because I want him to dominate me. It's because, honestly, I don't find them to be that important that I need to say something about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's a very good decision maker, so I'll
Yeah,
let
he
him
is.
do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he analyzes. My husband, my ADHD brain cannot do what he does. My husband looks at, like, if we do this, what can go wrong? And he's like 5 steps ahead. And then if we do this, what can go right? 5 steps ahead. And then he analyzes his data and he decides to come up with the right choice. I am like, I run purely off gut and vibes. It's like, does this feel good?
In those cases, I do too. Like, I definitely need.
Yeah.
My
I'm like,
husband's
does
the
this
same
feel
way.
good? And
He's
it's
a
the
big
same thing. Like
decision maker.
yeah, and like there are some times where I'll be like, he'll be like, this is what I'm thinking, and I'll be like, oh, I don't like that, and he'll go, and I'm like, I just don't know, but I don't like it, so give me a day to think about it because my gut is saying no, and I know that there's a reason for it, so give me some time, and then I will. I'll
Yeah.
come back to you with a reason. But yeah, I usually run off gut and vibes. That's how I make my decisions, and sometimes they're horrible, and sometimes
Yeah.
they work out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It is what it is. But no shame to traditional
Nope.
gender roles. Like, let's
Nope.
stop, like, not normalizing that. There are people
Right.
that still fall into that bucket.
Right.
So, onto our pop culture.
yes.
So, let's start with the Ace family drama. So, are you familiar with them?
So I was a little bit. I only found out about them when their house was being foreclosed on, and they had that like
Yes.
really nice house, and it was
Yeah.
getting foreclosed.
Yeah, so
That's when I heard about them.
Okay, yes, some background, like the biggest YouTube family channel to exist with Austin McBroom, Catherine Paiz, and they have 3 kids, Elle, Alea, and Steele. Now, I was familiar with them around the time where Catherine was pregnant with Alea. And honestly, the thing that roped me in about them is Catherine is so beautiful.
She is.
Oh my God, she is so stunning. And the way she carries herself and the way she speaks and everything, she is just like the epitome of a classy girl. So I was like roped in because I was like, she's beautiful, her kid's so cute. Austin had never really, whatever. Like, he was funny, he did some funny things, and I thought they were cute together, Like, they were cute. And then I would they do their clickbait videos. So I would just watch some of them, and it is what it is. And then I heard about the foreclosure stuff. And then there was a whole bunch of cheating allegations from Austin's side. Tana Mojo was yeah, I lied for him. There was all this stuff, but not a peep from Catherine and whatever. And then finally all of these cheating rumors were going on actually, and then she was pregnant with her 3rd child. And then a couple of years later, they ended up going through a divorce. And now she is coming out with a book called Dolores, because that's her real name. And she kind of opens up about how Austin was in fact cheating on her while she was pregnant with her 3rd. And just that whole experience. And then she went and called her daddy, did a whole sit down on that. But then in between these two, Austin is on like, I don't know if he's on Snapchat or Instagram, what platform he's on.
Everything he can get his hands on.
And there is just like so much spewing. And like, I am on Catherine's side. There was one thing that like Austin made a point of, and he was like that she was kind of like doing ayahuasca like a lot and like around the kids, and like I don't mess with that.
So she said she never did it around the kids. They went and did like ceremonies, and I believe that because in California that's big. I was like listening to some other actor that said him and his wife did it, and they did it in like Joshua Tree, wherever that is, and so like they did it like with the doctor and stuff like that. So I feel like I don't believe that I don't know her, but from what I've seen, she doesn't seem like she's anybody who would put her kids in harm.
I agree, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like, is there some truth to that or something? I don't know.
I mean, there
like,
might be. There might be. She just doesn't strike me as the type that would do it in front of her kids. Is she doing it? I mean, she said she is, but...
Yeah, but my thing is, like, why lie about that when you know she's gonna,
Well, maybe there's no proof, you know what I mean? Like, maybe there's no proof that she's doing it or she's not doing it, so it's an easy lie to do,
Yeah, but I do feel bad for the kids because there's just so much being put out there, and, she said that, like, during one of her daughter's, like, first haircut, she saw, like, a text come through from the girl, and it's like, now you have this experience of your daughter and one of her first milestones, like getting her haircut, and it's like tarnished, it's like every time you think of that, every time you see a video of that, and everything is recorded for them on YouTube. So every special moment they had was recorded, and now there's like some negative energy around it. And she did mention that like when Austin did any nice or extravagant things, she's like, is he doing this because he wants to do it or because he wants to do it for the channel? You know, and that's like so...
That's rough.
Yeah, like for your mental headspace, it's just like, it's crazy. But her book is out now, which I have to read it. I have to buy it, and I'll give you a download on it.
I have to tell you something that I found out.
Meet Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, she got pregnant with his kid.
Yes! I read it. I was like,
you missed that bag altogether. Like, you could have been with Michael B. Jordan. I'm not even talking about the bag of money. I'm just talking about, like, you could have bagged Michael B. Jordan and kept him. Like, because she's gorgeous. They would make a wonderful, beautiful couple. And, oh, my God. Yes. When I heard that, I was like, oh, my God.
I wish I could remember whose video I saw, but it was some girl on...
Somebody on TikTok.
TikTok. Right? Yeah. And she was like...
I don't know who it was, but she was given, like, the whole, like, lowdown about, like, how she was a stripper first.
Yes.
And then...
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So there was a part of me, like, when this was all going on, and I was like, I'm just going to, like, get the TikTok version of this book. Like, I'm not going to buy it. But then she, like, started giving all of that information. I was like, oh, like, what if, like, her book's been out now, like, a week or so. I felt like that would have been like the first thing to pop up. What if there's more I'm interested in that isn't on TikTok yet? So I'm definitely going to buy it. But yeah, she got pregnant by Michael B. Jordan, and she had made the decision that she was going to abort it. And then she went with him. They gave her like a pill or two. It didn't work, so she had to go get the DNC, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
And then she, was able to successfully abort it. But she said there was some things like the conversations back and forth that she was like, I know this isn't going to work out between us, so like it's a better decision and whatnot. But I did see in the comments like this happened 2 months before she got pregnant with Austin's child.
Oh,
so like, why would you not keep his baby, but you're keeping Austin's baby?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, she definitely has a spiritual side.
I mean, she seemed to love Austin, though.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be honest, that creeped me out when she was on
her
spiritual. She made like a comment about her, like the Mother Mary and like all that stuff. And I'm like, ma'am, like you profit off of your children on a YouTube channel. I don't think that's something that is very Jesus-like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then, the reincarnated Virgin Mary.
Yeah, like,
but I will say...
not.
So I will say, like, when Austin said that on his, like I said, whatever platform he was preaching on, I was like, I wonder if that's true. And then she went on Call Her Daddy, and Alex Cooper did bring that up. She did not deny it.
She didn't, and she said, "I have a strong spiritual connection with Mother Mary," and I was like, and not knocking anybody who's spiritual, but it's like you're on Call Her Daddy. You know what I mean? Like the show is called. You didn't go to like Three Priests or whatever kind of podcast they have and talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're doing ayahuasca in the desert. I don't know that Mother Mary wants to be, in that realm with you.
Well, Virgin Mary is not a spiritual thing. It's a religious thing, no?
It is a religious thing, but that's what I'm saying. But it's still spiritual. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like any kind of religion is spiritual. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think there's
it's all a little fake. You know what I mean? Like, it's all a little. And not everything is correct. You know what I mean? Like, was she really a virgin? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She got pregnant. So I just, you know what I mean? Like there's things.
As a Catholic, yes, she was.
As a Catholic, yes, she was. But was she? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always, that's honestly like what I say to people. Like when they're like, "Could you be pregnant?" Like when I had to sign a thing saying I wasn't pregnant, and I was like, "No, these tubes are burnt, clipped, and tied." I said it would be Jesus. It would be the second Jesus if I got pregnant. I was like, because it's not like, and the lady
Immaculate Conception
looked at me. It would be, I was like, because there's no way that anything's getting through these things. So, but I felt a lot of the issue that I had. I'm on her side. Everything. I think she seems like a sweet thing, but I think a lot of it is like looking back on some of the stuff she said. It was just like it was weird to listen to. Like you stayed with him for 5 years. And you didn't have sex with him at all. I don't know that I believe that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know that I believe that.
The timeline.
He doesn't seem like the type that would put up with that. Even if he was cheating, he doesn't seem like the type who would be like, "Oh, my wife's not giving me any." Guys like him would not allow that.
Yeah, the timeline that I'm confused about is that she knew he was cheating, but then she got pregnant.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And then she's like, "But I didn't let him touch me after I found out he was cheating." No, you did, because you got pregnant with your son.
Or like, I think she had an inkling, and then she got pregnant, and then she found out while she was pregnant. But still, if you haven't, I don't know, it's just like,
I'm not judging her, because people stay with who they stay with. But my thing is like, I don't believe all of it. However, I definitely don't believe anything he says. Like, every time he talks, I'm like, ugh.
You know what the issue is with him? He doesn't take any accountability. Like,
no.
He never said, like, well, he did, but this was, like, because you put him on blast. He never said, like, I am sorry that I did this. He was like, yeah, I made some terrible decisions, but, like, she said, just don't embarrass me. How would you feel if I didn't have any in for 5 years? Or she thought she was... It was, like, always an excuse as to why he did what he did when he was
like,
just,
so
like...
you're just a bad person.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean?
Like,
and I think that this kind of ties into like our gender roles, because the other thing that bothered me was she never knew about her money situation. Like, ma'am, you guys are making content off of you and like millions of dollars, and you don't know how much money you have. Your house is being foreclosed on. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I can honestly say I have no idea what my bills are. My husband takes care of that. Now, I have access to my bank account. I look at my bank account. I know what's going in and what's coming out of my bank account. I do know that. And if 6 figures went missing, I would know. You know what I mean? And there would be a conversation that needed to be had as to where that money is going. So it really, like, I was like, oh, man, like...
Yeah, and she
maybe
seems
you
like...
loved him that much that you just allowed anything, and that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Just because of everything she's went through and stuff like that. But there was just a lot of stuff I was like...
Yeah, like, be smarter.
Like, as she was talking, I was like, oh, girl. You know, I don't know how old she is. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how old she is. We're all
She's
dumb
like
when we were young.
33, 34, and they were together about 10 years, so...
So you're dumb when you're young. You know what I mean? Like, you make stupid decisions, and you're in love, and you make stupid decisions.
And she was postpartum for so long, back to back to back, you know, so...
Yeah, so I get it, but it was just, like, sometimes I was like,
I know.
as she talked. But then when he went on his... And I'm going to be honest, I don't think his girlfriend likes him at all. She seems like she does not like him. She's just with him to be with him.
I love the TikToks of her giving him just insane attitude.
Yes.
But she's, like, so young, and, like, he's, like,
that's the
30,
thing. He likes
32.
Some young because you're dumb when you're young. Like, come on, think about it.
But does she not kind of look like Catherine?
Yeah, she does. I don't think she's as pretty as Catherine. But
no, she's like a fake.
she's a pretty
Catherine's,
girl.
yeah, but she's like has her lip filler. Like she just looks more of a typical what an LA Gen Z girl looks like. Catherine is like a naturally beautiful girl, so like she doesn't have to, And I do feel bad because I don't like follow Austin, like his personal page, but I follow her personal page. And like I have for years, and like she came out with this skincare line, and I was like, oh my God, like everything that she did, I was like, I'm so into it. I just love her. I love the way she carries herself. I love the way she just holds conversation. It's just everything. I just love what she does. And she got like lipo and maybe like don't put me on record, maybe a mini like BBL or like a skinny whatever they call. She got
like the Lori Harvey BBL that they said
something
had,
like that.
It looks super natural.
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe it was just lipo or fat transfer. I don't remember. But it's like, man, I feel bad because I wonder if she got that just because like she's like, I think my husband's cheating on me and I need to do all of this.
That would suck.
So I like feel so bad because like, I mean, obviously she's been very open that she had breast implants, but if I'm not mistaken, she may have taken those out since, so I can't remember, but I really feel like I saw that somewhere. So I just feel bad for the kids because in 5 years this is all out there, and the only thing I did like think was like, is that Call Her Daddy episode was put out on Elle's birthday.
Yeah, that was weird.
I'm like, ugh. But then the Catherine doesn't have control over that.
Like, right. The thing that bothered me was like, he was like, and I couldn't go see my daughter.
Yeah.
Sir, because she did a podcast, your daughter doesn't know she did a podcast, go over there and see her.
Yeah.
She didn't bash him. Like, that was the one thing. Like, I have to give her credit because let me tell you, if my husband cheated on me while I was pregnant, it would not be a nice conversation. I would lay all dirty
with
laundry
2
and
kids
probably
already?
lie. I would probably lie. I'd be like, he shits the bed at night. You know what I mean? Like, I would just, anything that I can say, because you have to have anger. But she seems like so, like,
healed.
Just, or maybe not even healed, just I'm not going to talk badly about him because he is the father. Like, that wouldn't cross my mind. That wouldn't cross my mind at all. Like, it wouldn't cross my mind at all. I would be an angry, horrible person. So for him to be like, oh, I couldn't go see her because of what happened. Like, no, that's a bad look on you, because she didn't say anything bad about you. She told your truth, but she didn't say that she said you were a great father. She said, you know what I mean? Like, you love those children.
Yeah. And did you see?
She even said she liked your girlfriend.
Yeah.
She didn't have to say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see how he was gonna like do this like podcast himself, and he like bought the pink chair?
He brought the pink chair.
I was like, oh, you're trying way too hard. Like, relax. Like, it's not that
the thing
serious.
He loves her. I think he thought she would have just stayed with him forever and put up with all of that stuff.
Yeah.
He still loves her, and he's hurt that she left him. You know what I mean?
Well, he did. Because I'm getting so many TikToks now, I did see a clip where he was telling his new girlfriend that like after they separated, divorced, whatever, he moved into an RV across the street from her, and he was like, it was basically so I could just keep eyes on her. And I'm like, sir, why are you telling your new girlfriend this? Like, that's so crazy. That's so crazy.
Red flag. Yeah.
So red flag.
He did, like, and that's when I had seen it. I that's how I found out that they got divorced, because for some reason it came up on like my
Snapchat
page.
or something.
Yeah, or something, and he was talking about living in an RV, and I was like, that's across. He was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna ask her if I could park it in the driveway.
Yeah.
What, dude? No.
A crazy situation. Like I said, very sad that the kids are probably going to have to see this someday, and just know that about their dad, and just like, just see the back and forth. But like, it is what it is. I mean, like, I'm definitely going to buy her book, and
you have to tell me about it.
For sure.
I hope there's more bombshells, because I'd be really sad if you bought the book and the bombshell was she got pregnant with Michael B. Jordan, and then that was it. And
I mean, like I feel like I might find it more interesting than you would, because like I've been following her for so long, so deeply. Like, I'm so invested in her life. I just think that everything she does is just so cool. So like, I just may find it more interesting on just, even if there's not bombshells, but like, I truly was taken aback when she was like got pregnant by Michael B. Jordan, and apparently she never says his name, so like unconfirmed, but like we know everybody, like that's like everybody knows that she dated him. Like, that's the thing, so
Yeah.
What a time.
The other thing that just bothers me, and I think as women we should probably talk about this. Why are you having so much unprotected sex? Like,
So true.
you know what I mean? Like, especially if you say the timeline was 2 months later she got pregnant with Austin. Like, what, ma'am? There are diseases out there. Like,
It is true.
I just, you know what I mean? Like that I was like, because when she said it, I was like, oh, he's gorgeous. You know what I mean? Like, you should have stayed with him because he looks 10 times better than Austin, and I'm sure he treats women better than Austin does. Mm-hmm. But then, yeah, like, ma'am, use some condoms.
Maybe they did.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, to have condoms fail that many times, like, come on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, and like I said, I don't care that go screw whoever you want to screw, but like just wrap it up or
safely.
Be protected. You know what I mean?
Safe.
Like, STDs are out there and it's dangerous,
Gotcha. Oh. All right.
It's important that we say that.
We're
women.
It is.
We need to. Yeah, you have to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. So Alex Bennett.
So yes, I don't know if everybody knows who Alex Bennett is, but on TikTok she seems like an awesome mom. She has like, I don't know if the baby's like 6 months or 7 months or I don't know how old she is, but she showed up on my For You page and she talks to her daughter. Like, she has like full blown conversations. She's like, and then today this is what's going to happen. And she gives her like her whole day and she like looks at her and talks to her daughter like as if her daughter understands everything she says. Mm-hmm. So, and then I guess because I watched it, I started getting more of her content. And then I went down like an Alex Bennett rabbit hole because somebody else talked about her on a podcast, and like apparently she was married to the
Oklahoma
son
City.
of the owner of the Oklahoma Thunder, which, ma'am, they're in the finals tonight. So
So let me just say, I've been familiar with Alex Bennett for maybe 2-3 years now.
Really?
She used to work at Barstool, and she had a podcast called Mean Girl Pod with this girl Jordan. And I tried to listen to it, but it was like a wannabe, like, call her daddy kind of deal. And it just was like, but she was married to, his name was Graham, I believe. Yeah, Graham Bennett.
Okay.
And yeah, they like moved from Oklahoma, and she was on a reality show for a little bit too. It was like an Oklahoma thing. And then she moved to New York, and she got hired by Barstool. Her mom was like reality mom Kim or something too. So there was like just a lot of like controversy around the Mean Girl Pod because, like I said, it was kind of like a wannabe call her daddy, and like the like conversation was just like young girls, you know what I mean? Like talking.
Yeah.
Not gonna like kind of like our podcast back in 2019. You know, it was getting that vibe, but like that was the vibe.
Okay.
But like it was just like, now as a mom, like I didn't want to listen to that, so I was like, ugh. Like even now, like Alex Cooper doesn't even really talk about that, you know, like that stuff.
Right.
So then she like fell off the earth for me, and I was like, whatever happened to her? And apparently like Barstool was letting a lot of people go and like canceling shows, whatever, so their show got canceled, and then they did a new one. I forget what it's called. I don't know if it's called the same thing. But then her and Jordan were both doing this. I don't know if they still do it actually, but nonetheless.
They don't, because she does one with her husband now.
Yeah. But
or her boyfriend.
Too.
Yeah, I guess you could, but I've only seen things that come up have just been her and her boyfriend. Harrison.
Yeah. Let me see. Jordan. What's his name? Jordan. Yeah. So they actually 7 hours ago, they still do Mean Girl Pod, her and Jordan.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do that, and I'm pretty sure Alex has her own company, like that. She like founded the company to host her podcast, so she has that, and then her two parents in a podcast. But yeah, so I know about her, and then in between of her, I guess like getting let go of Barstool, and in between, she divorced her husband. And she said it was pretty mutual, kind of like we were both like,
She said they loved each other, but they knew that their lives weren't going in the same direction, and that was it.
Yeah, because he wanted to move back to Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken, and she was like, I want to stay here in New York. So they kind of did that. And then she met her boyfriend, and she got pregnant like right away. And
4 months.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was planned. Like, she wanted to get pregnant with him.
She did want to get pregnant, and So the reason that I brought her up is because, like I said, I found her. I like her. I think she's, I don't know, I like her I like the stuff with her kid. And then I started watching, like, just clips, and I know this sounds weird, but it's like I just get like clips of their podcast. But he gives me like super red flags. Like I find him to be very mean to her, and it bothers me because I like her. I don't know what she's like as a person. Like
Yeah.
I don't live with her, so it's like you don't know. But like even when she like tapes him, he's always like walking in front of her. He's always like he just says stuff to her. Like one of the clips, I think there was 2 clips, and one of them after I saw the other one like put me over the edge. So he made a comment to her about she asked him what happens when you date a divorcee or something. What's something about dating? And he was like, you're expensive and annoying. And I was like, dude, like she's recording you. Like be nice. You know what I mean? And then on their podcast, he was like, are you expecting an anniversary Instagram post? Like, are you expecting me to do a post? And she was like, I mean, it doesn't have to be long or anything. And he was like, like he was just like, I don't know that he likes her. Yeah, like I don't know that he likes her. And then, like he says stuff to her. Like she bought him all these gifts for his birthday, and he was like, you could tell he didn't like them, and he was like, let's just not exchange gifts.
What?
Like dude, she went out of her way.
Oh my God, I've not seen those clips. I feel like
if you like,
I get it now.
You have to like,
I get it now.
Yeah.
Especially if I just searched her podcast.
Yeah, it's just like the way that he talks to her really bothers me because she seems really nice and she loves, like, over the moon in love with him, and they have a kid together, and, and they moved to Austin, and he, I'm going to be honest, he seems like a great dad. I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can definitely tell he loves his daughter, but just, I don't see them lasting very long, and I don't like it because I don't like the way that he treats her. And then, I didn't know this, but apparently she used to do a lot of stuff with her parents. Mm-hmm. And everybody is saying that since she got with Harrison, she doesn't even like visit her parents or anything like that. Like she's not close with her parents anymore. But again, she just might not be taping that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that just might not be
and
the
if
content
she's in a
that
different
she tapes.
state as well, that might be a little harder.
Yeah.
So.
But like they don't, they're like, she didn't even like show them like meeting her daughter or anything like that. So I don't know. And the other thing is that he says stuff like, he like veils it a little bit, like, oh, well, because I'm from up north and you're from the south. Like, kind of like,
Where's he
so
from?
I'm more direct. I have a New Yorker, I don't know. And apparently he owns like a food line or something. I don't know, because they were in like Costco one time and she was like, oh, here's daddy's food or whatever. So... yeah, so he makes good money. I guess she makes good money too. I don't know, but he just doesn't. It really bothers me because, like I said, I really like her. I know nothing about her. I knew nothing that she was on Barstool. I didn't know any of that. I did see the Mean Girl pod, but I just assumed that it was just her podcast. And then I saw some clips of her with her parents, like getting them to the airport on time, and her mom being like a hot mess and all like forgetting her coffee and she had to run back to the like that kind of stuff. But it really bothers me that he is the way he is. So when you see it, you let me know what you think because I feel like very like super red flag, and I'm like, girl,
maybe we need her input on it. Maybe it's like a persona. Maybe he's just trying to get clickbaity, like
maybe
get people
or maybe he
riled
just
up.
doesn't want to do it, and so he just says stuff so that maybe it'll stop. But it's just like, be direct and be like, I don't want to do this podcast with you. You know what I mean? Like,
Interesting. No, I'm definitely have to keep an eye out. But no, I really do like her too. And I like this version of her, of like the whole mom thing. Because I feel like, and I guess it makes sense looking back. Because like I said, I used to listen to the podcast of, back in the day of Mean Girl pod. But it wasn't like for me. And I like this version of her being a mom better. I don't listen to her new podcast. But honestly, I guess I'll check it out. And maybe I'll even circle back to Mean Girl Pod because things have to be different. You change so much when you become a mom, and I feel like that's even like our podcast. Like, I feel like I have changed so much from when we first recorded, and you too, like even though you were our mom when we first began, but
But we weren't really mom talking, what I mean? Like that wasn't really our thing.
You were trying to cling to your youth to me, but now we're both old now.
We're both in the same boat. We're both old. I'm getting colonoscopies, so we're both old.
Literally. That's so funny.
Yes.
By the way, I was talking to somebody, one of my mom's club friends, and I was telling her about the podcast, and I was like, yeah, she's like, that's so funny you do that and you catch up with your friend. And I was like, yeah, and we cover like parenting topics, and we have like a good range because like she's like 42, her kids are older, and she's like, she's 42, she looks great. I go, thank you.
Thank you.
I go,
Thank
thank you, because that's what I'm going to look like when I'm 42, you know? So I was like, wonderful. She's like, no, she looks great. And I'm like, I know.
Tell her
So,
thank you,
I mean,
because
you, like, not to like toot your own horn, but like you get that all the time.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because and it was funny because I even told my husband one time, I was like, sometimes I feel bad for Alyssa because you're like, you look like Jessica. And I was like, but I don't want Alyssa to think she looks 40. You know what I mean? I was like, 'cause
No.
she doesn't look 40. And my husband was like, neither of you look 40. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, thank you for
Yeah.
that.
If anything, you look my age, which honestly I feel
But
like was the biggest
which is
compliment when
great.
you were in your 20s, when I was in my 20s.
Yes, it was. It was, oh, it's so good. And then
You're
you
like,
get to
I could
fucking turn
pass for a
30. No.
24-year-old, and now I'm 30. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm just, yeah. So, but I was like, I told my husband, I was like, please, I was like, people need to stop saying it because I'm in my 40s and
I don't
I
care.
don't want her to feel like, and he was like, you don't have like wrinkles, you don't look 40, so you're fine.
Yeah,
I was like,
no, I don't care. I think it's funny. I like love going out and people are like, oh my god, you guys sisters,
You're your
twins.
sister, yeah.
We used to get twins all the time, like all
I
the
know.
time.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, I get sisters, but I don't know about twins. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it
Yeah.
was funny. We
Yeah.
had so much fun.
So much.
But I guess that was it.
Yeah, so I'll look out for those clips of her boyfriend. Like I said, I really do like her, and I like that this mom version of her. So I'm down for. And it's funny because her married name is Bennett. So I'm like, is she gonna go
okay.
back to like? I think I just saw on Instagram. It's like Hodges is
Okay.
her maiden name, but she has that in her like bio, but the handle is still Alex Bennett because she's created such a platform. So it's like,
Right.
do you go back to your maiden name when nobody knows you by your maiden name? And it's so weird.
Right.
I mean, you've had your married last name for a long time, and I'm married
Oh my God.
how long am I married for? 2018, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 7 years. And it's like I got married while I moved down here, so I was like in the transition of like meeting people, but then my last name was changing, and it's so weird now in the past like 3 years that I've like met so many new people, and like I don't exist as my maiden name. Like nobody knows
Right.
me. It's so weird. Like it's just like I'm not that person. Like nobody knows
Right.
me like that. You know, like when you are like somebody from high school, you're like, oh, I wonder what, like, are they doing well? And you like don't know their
Right.
last name, but you don't know their married name, and they switched it. So you're like, yeah,
Right.
I don't know this person anymore. Or even when you're on Instagram and somebody comes up and you're like, who is this person? Because you don't know who their
You don't know
last
their
name.
name.
It's just it's such a crazy concept. So I'm interested if she's like gonna be able to ever like switch her handle to like her maiden name, or maybe when she gets married, if she gets married to Harrison, if
Oh,
you
and
know.
that was the other thing. She made a comment about on the podcast. He says something about like marriage, and he was like, "Why are you talking about marriage? I'm not marrying you." Like the way he said it, or it was
No.
something like that. He said it like, we're not getting married or something. It was so mean. And like the thing is, like her face was like she's talking, and then he said it, and she went. Like her face dropped, and then she realized that they were still like on camera. So she smiled again and like laughed it off and stuff. And she's like, well, I don't mean like now. But it was like the way he said it was like, yeah, that's not happening. It was like hurtful.
Interesting.
It was like hurtful to say. You're going to have to look at it and see. But
I'm
yeah,
definitely. I will literally be going to look right after we're done with this. That's crazy. That's so sad.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I do think, like you said, I mean, I'm sure that it was discussed in her divorce. I could keep your last name. Because, like,
Yeah.
if my husband and I got divorced now, I would keep his last name because that's been my name. That's my children's name. You know what I mean? Unless I got remarried, I wouldn't change my name back to my married. If my husband and I were married and I didn't have any kids, I would go back to my maiden name in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat because I didn't have kids, but I want to have the same last name as my children.
Yeah.
Maybe once they got married, I'd go back. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
then
that's true.
I'm not
Then-
going to have my last name because I have girls, so
Yeah.
their last names aren't going to stay our last name. But yeah, so maybe it was something that she worked out in her divorce, like keep the last name. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I'll keep the last name.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious about
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go check this out because I'm so curious now.
You
Like
have to do it.
that's wild.
It's like if you look up his name and put red flag, that's where you see a lot of stuff.
Oh my god.
It was bad. It was bad.
Wow. All right. Well, hopefully
well,
things
let's
end
wrap
better
it
for
up.
her. Yeah.
Right.
Well, so that is our episode. Not as long as last episodes, but it's a good one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and we will see you next time.
Okay, bye.